and welcome to our fourth annual conference on evangelism. I tell you, we are really excited about what we have today. Thank you. Yes, yeah, we're very excited about what we have today, just to contribute and offer kind of this conference has a history of having some great ideas. So we're excited to show you what we have in our new church and how we're planning to take this church and really infiltrate the inner city of Atlanta with the gospel, take it to the children there and to the adults. And so we're going to invite Wesley up in a second here, and he's going to show us kind of what we have. And I hope you guys are just excited as I am to get into this. But before we do, I want to say a short prayer, and then we can jump in. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this opportunity that we all have to be here and to learn and to talk about one of the most important topics that we can talk about in evangelism. We are so excited to be talking about this today, and we just hope that you can guide this conversation to the correct ends. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Wesley Self on to show us some of our ideas.
Thank you, Max. That was amazing. Alrighty, so we're really excited about what we're doing here at Cornerstone Church in downtown Atlanta. So, right off the bat, our mission is transforming lives through love. So, obviously, we're in a different setting than lots of churches around the country, lots of churches that you may be used to. So, here in the inner city of Atlanta, family dynamics look different. Age demographics of who's going to be attending church, our target audience to evangelize through, the needs that we need to meet in order to get these people in the door. They're different, and we're excited about that, and we're just excited to be ministering here in Atlanta. So I'm going to do a quick overview of our strategies for evangelism. We've highlighted 4 events, ideas of things that individual churches can do. We tried to put an emphasis on affordability, practicality, just so all these churches that may not have a lot of money, but have the fields are ripe for harvest where they are, they really have plenty of options and avenues open for ways they can evangelize. So one of our key points is connecting through celebration. We go through holiday dinner plans, meals together, just events that really allow people to naturally come together and open up, because when they open up, they'll be more open to the gospel. So we want to build a community for youth. Mainly, the reason for this is just the gang problems, the habits that people can get into as they age, and the influences that the world can be. We want to be the influence before the world gets to them. And so we got some specialized ministries, after school programs for middle schoolers to really be a voice in their lives that is a positive one. And final big point, feeding the soul and body. Really just a big thing for this is training those in our church to evangelize other places. We don't want this to just be the group leaders, just people on the stage. We want to have a congregation that's a family. They're getting fed when they come to church, but in a way that trains them to reach out and make more disciples. There's a real biblical design for that, and it's just a way to reach a healthy church. And basically, this all leads together for a holistic approach to evangelism outside our 4 walls, being part of the community, and really making the church more than just a building, as it should be. So, without further ado, I'm going to invite my fellow, Max is up next, and these people are going to take you one by one through the activities we have planned. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Wesley. That's a great job of giving us an introduction of our strategies and our mission here at Cornerstone Church in Atlanta, I have the privilege of covering our first idea today, which is the sports clinic. And as we all know, you might be thinking sports, it's either for you or it's not for you, but statistically, 70% of Americans watch live sports. And so what that means in Atlanta, in the population that we're targeting, is that sports are a big deal. And more than that, sports can be weaponized for the gospel as a commonality, um, a common ground that we can share when going into the gospel, because it's a very polarizing issue. Christianity is, and if you go up to somebody and try to tell them about Christianity, they already have preconceived notions about what they believe and whether they will accept or deny your message. And so if you start from a common ground like sports and you bring the kids in and you allow the kids to have fun and to play and give them something valuable that they actually perceive as valuable in their favorite sports, then not only will the parents appreciate it, the kids will appreciate it. You're getting them inside the walls of a church, and you're allowing them to hear the message of the gospel in a setting that is not strictly churchy, right? It's a setting that is fun and exciting for kids of all ages. And so we're really excited about this. I think sports has a great opportunity in our ministry, just to break down those barriers, because we know that, as Wesley touched on in the introduction, the demographics of the family situation in Atlanta are much different than what I'm used to. They have different cultures, they have different values, and so we're moving into the city, this new Atlanta area, and we are attempting to evangelize. And one of the most important things in evangelism is building relationships any way possible, and sports is just one of the ways that we are looking to do that. And so, kind of what we were thinking is we're gonna have this sports clinic, right? And so, either in our church, we do have a gym in our church. We're hoping to utilize that some, but also we're going to look for using our budget to maybe rent out or see if we can get a deal within the city, in a small facility that we can have. And what we'll do is we'll have the kids come in and we'll have different age groups. So we probably will have a middle school camp, a high school camp, and then maybe an elementary school camp, with different counselors and different coaches based on their skill level. And we'll be teaching them, obviously elementary school kids, we'll teach them basic skills like dribbling and passing and shooting. Middle school kids, we can move into some pickup and really ramping it up a little bit to get a little bit more fun. And then high school, we can have a full-on, real camp with real skills and advanced tactics and stuff like that, because they want to move into the varsity level. And so we're excited about each of those groups, because the parents of the elementary school kids will be appreciative of the time they can go and drop their kids off. And this also, we want to get it to either very affordable, or we want it to be free, because research shows us that right here we see metro families say they're going into debt so that their kids can play sports. And I think that the church, because so many people want to make money off of sports, and rightly so, it's a great business, but the church, that's not our main objective. And so if the budget allows, we'd like to make it as cheap and affordable as possible, possibly even free, so that these parents can bring their kids in, give them something valuable like basketball to learn, and also they can have time to their own to go do work or whatever they need. And so after they come in, they say they do camp stations and they play for a while. In between, probably dispersed, we'll take breaks, and we'll have a speaker come in and address everybody in the camp, present the gospel. We'll give opportunities throughout for small groups, for prayer. And I think this is just a really special opportunity for the counselors and for the speaker to relate really well to these kids through basketball, as they teach them not only about how to be a better player, but about how to be a better person. And so we'll incorporate the Bible into these camps. And I think, just to reiterate, that's going to be a powerful thing. Sports can be a great unifier. And so I think that's a great opportunity for us to go in, something that a lot of people are interested in, and spread the gospel. And so that's sports. That's our sports clinic. That's the first thing that I've had the privilege to introduce. And now Henry, ladies and gentlemen, will come up and share us about our next topic. So we're excited for that.
Hello. thank you all for coming. I'm here to discuss our next topic, the church dinners that we are planning. This is especially for the poorer communities in the area. There's a lot of poverty in the Atlanta area, a lot of people who are having a hard time affording meals. So what you planned on doing is just giving them a meal where they come for community in the church and just to have a nice meal with members of the church. In order to keep the budget down, we decided to put out there that anyone in our congregation can donate whatever kinds of food they're able to, and then once a week we meet up for dinner and we invite the whole community. We have plenty of space in the gym, plenty of tables and chairs that can be set up, and dinners are a really good way of getting people connected to the church and showing them hospitality. They show that we don't just care about, we're trying to push the gospel down your throat, but no, we want to meet your very practical needs, and we also want to build a relationship with you. And when times are taken at dinner to build that relationship, then that's lead into we're talking about the gospel, and we might even have some speakers coming to speak about the gospel at some of the dinners. And now we have Johnny talking about our holiday events.
So there is a full holiday event we can provide it. So first of all is like community Thanksgiving dinner. So hosting a free Thanksgiving dinner and engage the community in the spiritual of the gratitude. And second is Christmas caroling. Do the caroling, bring the joy of the Christmas, and it's gonna be directly relatable and create a festival atmosphere. And thirdly is Easter egg hunts. Is a family and friendly events with the emphasis on the true of the Easter. And lastly is back to the school drive. And through this one is supporting families by providing school supplies of God's will and the community's support. And I'm sorry.
You know the next slide.
Yeah. And why is it important? There is a full parts of the why is it important. And first of all, it's a cultural relevance. Holiday service is a cultural touch points and the trapping into the share the traditional and the value. And it also like family focus and through the this kind of holiday events, holiday emphasize the family value and creating an opportunity for the relational evangelism. And it also like community buildings. Holiday events provide a platform for the residents to interact, foresting a sense of the belonging. And lastly is a positive atmosphere. Fest is a spirit to bring the joy and the positive, creating a conducive and environment for the conversation. Next one is after school program. The day.
So our next strategy that we have is to do an after-school program, and just some stats to kind of start out. There's 18.5% of population is in poverty in Metro Atlanta. That is from the census that Atlanta had in 2021, and then according to their local police station, of that poverty, and also in the metro area, there are over 1,000 gangs estimated. So we feel like the after school program is a highly important thing simply because it takes kids that are impressionable at the time for a place of belonging and putting them in a positive atmosphere. So we chose middle school ages for, again, the reason of they're highly impressionable. Oftentimes at that age, kids don't really know who they are and they want to fit in. And so we're giving them a place to fit in that's going to be a positive influence on them, not a negative. So the next thing with that we're going to be able to provide is making sure that we provide tutoring. Overall, the homework shouldn't be that difficult at those ages of 10 to 14, and we hope that we have people that will be able to do the homework, and even if they don't know everything about it, they should be able to at least guide the kids in the right direction. And the next aspect of all that is the workers and the type of people that we need at these after-school programs. So the emphasis that we put on the traits that those people need to have is they need to be caring, compassionate, and patient with these kids. Most of these kids will probably come from a broken home, and they need affection and a way for them to be shown something out of their normal. Most of those kids will probably have some sort of emotional outburst or at least be prone to having them, meaning that the workers need to be patient. And oftentimes those type of people are workers that need to be able to gain the students' trust, so they need to be authentic, and them being authentic should lead to those workers being able to have a conversation with the kids about Christ. Along with that, we hope to be able to provide snacks for the kids. Oftentimes in poverty, there's not going to be a meal at home, or a lot of kids in the area are already on free and reduced lunch. So being able to have snacks and at least be able to give those kids something to eat, even if they don't get a full meal with the rest of the night, they should at least be able to get a small snack or something along those lines. We also are going to provide activities so that the kids can be able to run around and play. So they've been cooped up in school all day, and they have probably a lot of energy, and especially at that age. So if we can allow them to be able to play sports or play cards or board games, or maybe if the budget allows it, if we have a donation of like a video game system or something, a lot of the kids will be able to play that for a few hours and just release some of their energy. And we also hope to provide maybe simpler things of like toiletries along those lines. Again, poverty is prevalent in the area, so being able to have like shampoo, toothbrush, toothpaste, maybe toilet paper provided, things along those lines, would be a big help to the community and be a big help to those kids. So without further ado, I now present Emily.
Hey guys, I'm going to be talking about our small group church training on personal evangelism. Our first one is going to be talking about how we will bring our church members into the church and train them to know what evangelism is and how to share the gospel effectively and what that looks like in our days. Now, church members will meet once a week and go over what evangelism is and what it looks like to do personal evangelism in our everyday lives. They will also meet one more time during the week to have some fellowship and getting to know the people in their small groups on a closer level. There will be a whole group breakout session at the beginning. They're going to have a whole group that will go over kind of the main topic that will be covered for every session. And then they're going to have them break up into their small groups, which will be led with an elder and his wife for each small group. So for each group, there'll be about 5 to 10 people, not counting the leader and his wife. That way it's small enough that you can get more personal conversation and more being able to meet each person's questions and concerns. The small groups leader will go into more detail on what they went over in the whole group session. So say they may have went over, okay, what is evangelism? And then in the small group, they will be going over, well, what do y'all think evangelism is? And here's what he was talking about in the main group. So going over more detail and getting those questions and answering those. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. All right, during the small group sessions, the questions will be raised so that any misunderstandings of what personal evangelism is, what it looks like, or what it even looks like being covered, and it will be addressed in those small groups. Now, after about a month with the small groups, maybe two, the training, they will start applying what they've learned in their small groups by practicing personal evangelism with one another in the small groups. So say they'd practice it with the 5 to 10 people in their group. And then after probably about 6 or so months, the training leaders will start asking the people in their small group to start sharing the gospel and evangelizing with people outside of their small group, outside the church, and actually start applying it outside and with the people that they've already built relationships with or are currently building it with. Now, group leaders will encourage those in their group to be praying for opportunities to share the gospel and be there to answer any questions they may have. So they'll be there to answer if they have any questions about how they're doing it or maybe what's going on in their evangelism strategies, and to go over that with them and to be encouraging them to be praying, and rather than just saying they're waiting for God to send someone. Prayer is an effective way to be asking God to use you in His will. This is something we want to encourage our members to be doing. Now, the training groups will begin sharing their experiences throughout that time of how they're sharing the gospel, what they have seen God do, what they're wondering maybe they're not doing right, or just some of those questions that they can bring to their small group in trust and in personal wonder, and wondering how to do that. Are they doing what's best? And getting that advice and the feedback they need. And then at the end of the year, there will be an evaluation of the small group training and to see if it has helped the members of the church and how it might be improved. Rather than that way at the end, we can see, has this been effective? Has it been helpful? And kind of gain some feedback from the small groups and their leaders and seeing what could be done. Okay, next we're going to be having Adeline, and come on up.
So while Emily was talking about training on personal evangelism in small groups, here at our church we also believe that small groups just in general are very important. Small groups give each member of the church an opportunity to learn in community with one another on just more of a personal level. So we believe that every church needs small groups that are after the same vision and same mission. So how do we come up with that vision and mission? The leaders of the small groups will come together and kind of just brainstorm of what the purpose of small groups is within the church. A big thing is that we don't want small groups to just be a once or twice a week thing. We want the people in the small groups to be doing life on life together, because that's how you really build community with one another, and that's how you're going to learn best. So these small groups will be middle school through adult ages, and they're going to be open groups, not closed. So then people can invite their friends, and then they're hearing the gospel with their friends, and it's more personal. These groups will have 5 to 7 people per group, and once they start to get a little bit bigger, then obviously we'll have to face that problem and split the groups so they're multiplying. The groups will meet Sunday night and Wednesdays. So on Sunday nights, they'll kind of be doing a study together, like Emily was saying. So all these groups will be meeting at the same time, but just in different areas. But on Sunday nights, they'll kind of go over a study that the group has chosen to go over together. And then on Wednesday nights, they'll hang out and just get to know one another better. But training is also needed for these leaders. So to do this well, each leader needs to have a background check. They need to go through an interview and application process. They must be a member of the church, and fruit must be evident in their lives as they're going throughout this process. So we know that they are strong enough to lead others in their faith as well. In these groups, or in this training, they will go over methods of personal evangelism, just like in the other training, and then issues that could also arise within small groups or just within this community in general. At the end of the year, the leaders will send out an evaluation to their groups to kind of just see how that leader is doing as a leader, and then other people can give them feedback on how they can do better as a leader, but also the leader will be also going through a time of evaluation where they're meeting with other leaders just to see how the other groups are doing and how they can give one another feedback as the church is growing. So I'm going to invite Wesley back up here to close us out.
First off, I just want to say big thanks to all my fellow leaders here at Cornerstone Church. Really thought they did a good job of presenting our mission. I want to thank all of you all for coming out, listening to us. I just hope that through this presentation, you all got as excited as we are about what God's going to do here in inner city Atlanta. Really just mainly want to ask for your prayers. It's a big job. There's a lot of people out there, and we just want to do our best for that. So I thank you all. If you all would remember us in prayer. And that's it. Thank you all.
Let's do like 35 minutes.
Oh,